I was recently talking with some of the folks who work at a large enterprise, and they were expressing how their internal processes can slow down any meaningful innovation. And it reminded me of my time with large organizations when I was at Salesforce, where I saw that happening firsthand. The reason that's really relevant for AI is because AI cannot be classified like a software category per se, in my opinion. It's more like electricity. It's more like other things that just permeate the entire enterprise. And that's what makes it so hard if you have a really bureaucratic setup. My assertion here is that I think large enterprises, a lot of them, are not going to be able to do well with AI, particularly generative AI. And I'm saying this despite of all the money they're going to throw at it, all the hotshot concern, all the super expensive software they buy. There are certain areas where there may be efficiencies and you can drive them. The summarization is a great example. Just apply it anywhere. Just sprinkle it all over, call logs, meeting notes, whatever you have. You may be able to do some of those, but fundamentally to re-engineer processes, to look deep into the inefficiencies and make things much more effective across the board, require the kind of thinking that it first and foremost starts with giving people a chance. And for that to happen, particularly in large enterprises and regulated sector, you have to let your people try it out. Start small, but give them significant amount of freedom to actually test things out. And one of the best ways to do this is to use mock data. We do that all the time with a lot of regulated sector customers, where we basically just do it in a sandbox with mocked data so that they can reduce the amount of risks associated with it and try it out. Because the first aspect of almost everyone I come across is struggling is finding good business use cases with AI. And to be able to do this, you got to kick some tires on this, POC or pilot it with your end users and see what makes sense. We tend to forget that there is a change in user experience, in business process, in how people engage with technology. And when AI is going to bring that change, that is where the emphasis needs to be. It's easy for technologists to jump on the data bandwagon and talk about data is the problem, we need to do this, blah, blah, blah. And yes, there is a lot of truth to it, but it is not the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth is that we want to solve business problems with the people who are using technology. And for us to do that, we need to dig deeper than saying, let's just bring data across the enterprise. Even a fraction of data from a bunch of emails, from call logs, from what people are writing in your CRM or wherever else, that is enough to actually get started. But people who don't think this way or don't look at stuff this way are bound to run into disappointment. I was watching this really great video from Mark Zuckerberg of his early days, where he was talking about how there were just a bunch of ragtag developers who were running circles around large enterprises with the Facebook network that they were building at that time. Because large enterprises didn't pay attention. Their large competitors were going, oh yeah, social networking is a solved problem. Google has Orkut, there's a bunch of others, there's MySpace, it's fine. Let these little groups do whatever they're doing. And they were like, they ignored us then. They laughed at us when we were building mobile experiences. They said, oh, it's all, BS. And by the time these organizations came around, Facebook was huge. And that is the fundamental thing with AI. Do not ignore small POCs, small pilots, small niche vendors, because that is where true innovation will come from. I don't think you will see a lot of innovation coming from extremely large organizations that are still thinking the old way. There is a completely new mindset that does not require us to reinvent ourselves, but it does require us to reframe the problem and to look at this a bit deeper. Curious to hear what you think. Thank you so much.